Hi, I want to talk a bit about quants questions, in particular at CFA level 1. A lot of candidates find quants a pretty challenging topic, but let's just think about a couple of things that should make you feel a bit better about it as a subject. In your exam, we estimate about 1 in 6 questions is going to involve a calculation using your Texas Instruments or HP machine. In quants, the proportion is probably a bit higher, but it's still a low proportion. The majority of quants questions are still going to be verbal, analytical, rather than calculational. So think, for example, about if you're doing a time value of money calculation, which of the following 3 factors is most likely to lead to a smaller result or a bigger result? That sort of analysis. Think about how the calculations work rather than just focusing on the button bashing on your calculator. Hypothesis testing, for example, you've got those slightly odd hypothesis tests at the end on the variance, and you may be thinking, well, this is quite challenging. The algebra on here is quite a lot. But again, we're not doing the calculations. We're much more likely to be saying which test works in different circumstances, and that's really what you need to be thinking about. The next little hint for you is to check the answer makes sense. If you are doing a calculation, let's say you're doing a discounting problem, let's say a discounted annuity such as to what we call toothbrush problems. You're saving up today in order to get fees for a future university education for your child. You're discounting. You expect a result that is lower than the sum of the cash flows in the future. And just think, does that make sense? Are the results roughly in line? So if you've got, let's say, 4 lots of 20,000 in the future, totaling 80,000, today's value is going to be a lot less than that, depending on the time period and the discount rate. So think about that. Also, use tricks. And I'll find a little trick from me today. Use tricks. So let's say you're given some data and you're told to calculate something like the sample variance. Look at your 3 answers. There's information contained in the 3 answers. You know 2 things about the sample variance. First of all, it's bigger than the sample standard deviation because it's the square of it, but also it's bigger than the population variance. And what are the common errors that can be made? Think about it. If you're calculating the sample variance, you're dividing by n minus 1 instead of by n, and therefore of the 3 options you're given, the chances are the correct answer is the number that's a little bit bigger than one of the other numbers. So just think about this, and hopefully quants should not be so much of an issue. We do have an introduction to financial maths if you're interested in that. But quants is actually a pretty good subject once you get to grips with it.